Tonight on Truth, Duty, Valor. Millions of landmines and explosives blend in with the landscape.
There's always that threat. There's always that unknown that nobody can prepare for.
Working to bring security and hope to one of the world's most unstable countries. Canadian soldiers going on the next rotation to Afghanistan, trained for the worst-case scenarios.
Hopefully we gave the guys the baseline that they need to practice this, and hopefully they will never have to use it.
Afghanistan is a country that has endured over 20 years of war and has become one of the world's most volatile countries. Since 1990, Canada has contributed over $500 million toward humanitarian assistance and reconstruction efforts in hopes of bringing stability and peace to the country. Operation Athena is the Canadian Forces' contribution to the International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, in Kabul.
For us, what that means is we have different parts, different elements of the forces that are going over. We have soldiers, sailors, airmen from across the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast, from all bases, regular and reserve, and they're going to work together at teams and different sizes, providing different types of support to the Afghan Transitional Authority and the International Security Assistance Force.
At this time, ISAF, the peace support mission led by NATO, is comprised of about 6,500 troops from more than 36 nations. 700 of them are Canadian soldiers. The next rotation of soldiers to contribute to Operation Athena are getting ready for their mission. Mostly based out of Petawawa, they will deploy to Afghanistan for 6 months in February of 2005. This is the fourth Canadian Forces consecutive tour. Commonly known as Roto 3, the first rotation began at 0. The soldiers are gearing up to do their jobs in a war-torn country. Some were on the first mission to Afghanistan. Others have never lifted a combat boot from Canadian soil. Truth, Duty, Valor caught up with soldiers at CFB Petawawa during their 2-month specialty training for their deployment overseas. This is training that every soldier must do and is essential to help them stay alive. The scenarios are based on real incidents and lessons learned on other rotations. This soldier is on his 7th deployment, and this will be his 2nd time in Afghanistan. His crew is one of the many that will be doing routine patrols around Kabul and need to be aware of surprise attacks or ambushes.
Basically, we're the guys on the ground. We secure an area on the ground. If something happens, then we will get out of the vehicle. We'll fight our way to an enemy position, clear that enemy position, and basically that's, in general terms, you know, we're the guys on the ground and we fight the battle on the ground.
An ambush is a big threat for soldiers on patrol. Sometimes the soldiers know of areas that are susceptible to ambushes, and other times they are well hidden. Ambushes are just one of the many risks of working in a war-torn country.
There's always that unknown that nobody can prepare for. I mean, we do the best that we can with all this training that we have. But, I mean, yeah, there's still that possibility in the back of your mind, whether landmines, snipers, or whatever.
When Truth, Duty, Valor returns, there's no parallel parking test for this driver's ed class. In a city where anything can be dangerous, soldiers train to be aware of everything. Improvised explosive devices are deadly and could be hiding anywhere. Even garbage is avoided.
Basically, we try to avoid it as much as possible. Obviously, we don't know what's underneath it, whether it could be a mine, a bomb, an IED. So the drivers, part of this training is to help them to maneuver the vehicle in tight corners and try to avoid as much as the garbage that's there as possible.
Another challenge is driving through the congested streets of Kabul. Maneuvering an armored vehicle can be tricky when you're surrounded by thousands of pedestrians or squeezing down an alley.
The training that they're doing here is simulating the narrowness of the roads and everything, which is actually pretty realistic because there's some roads where we've traveled that you've only got maybe 2 inches on either side of the vehicle to try to go down in some of these little alleyways and stuff. That's the whole reason why we do these exercises and this is just to help to build the confidence in the driver of the vehicles.
The soldiers going on Roto 3 are lucky to have troops from the first mission to Afghanistan train them with their expertise.
The scenario right here is based on an accident we had in Afghanistan where a Lav hit a taxi cab. The commander's intent is that we actually go through. They've already done their briefings. They already know how to do mass casualty. It's to see how they actually react to the incident. They don't know that they're actually going to get into an accident, except for the crew commander of the first vehicle and the driver, who knows that he's actually going to hit this vehicle. Everything is based on how they're going to react to the situation.
The real test in this scenario is learning the art of crowd control. It is key to staying in command of a situation.
What happened was the troops here had to actually do a cordon. They had to cordon off the area and make sure that the civilians that were coming down this road didn't actually get too close to the vehicle. The civilians in Afghanistan will be looking for what's happening with the actual person inside this vehicle.
There's an after-action review for every scenario where the soldiers get feedback on their performance.
Excellent job. You controlled the crowd. I'm not going to tell you how to do your own job here, okay? That's not what I'm here for.
The troops are warned of new dangers involving vehicles.
In the southern part of Afghanistan, what's happening right now, they're getting into intentional vehicle accidents. Then a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device is coming up alongside the convoy, trying to detonate. 2 American soldiers were killed last month that way. Always be cautious. Basically, if it looks suspicious, it probably is. That's about all you can do. You have to be vigilant.
When Truth, Duty, Valor returns, prodding their way to safety.
I wouldn't say the primary targets would be armored carrying vehicles, it would be soft-skin vehicles. A vehicle is cruising downtown Kabul, somebody pulls a pin, sticks it on the side of the vehicle. Right? I wouldn't say the primary target.
Before the trainees start their mine awareness drills, they're briefed on the many other types of explosives they could come into contact with in Afghanistan.
IEDs or improvised explosives. It's a big danger over there because anybody has access to explosives that is in Afghanistan. And basically, they take another device and incorporate both of them and hide them all over Kabul itself. They could be hidden in trunks of vehicles. They could be hidden on the side of roads, behind posters, culverts. Really, their imagination on how they want to employ them is only limited to where they can hide them, really.
Afghanistan is arguably the most heavily mined area in the world. With an estimated 9 to 11 million mines and explosive devices lying around the country, this is one class to pay attention in.
All right, in a proposed minefield, you have a casualty on the ground. There is a chance that when that person went down, their kit may have snagged a tripwire, or their body is on a pressure release mine of some sort. You don't want to just pick that casualty up and recover them right away, because there is the chance that when you pick them up, that mine's going to go off, and not only is the casualty getting fragged, but you're getting fragged as well, and as a rescuer, you don't want that. When the casualty's down there, you want to lay down right beside the casualty, okay? If there's a limb, there's going to be a 1 meter cleared area around the casualty, but if there's any limbs hanging out, you want to make sure you have a firm grip of the limb so that when you roll the casualty back, it doesn't fly into potentially uncleared territory, all right? Preparing to roll, and you'll say, rolling. Their body comes up off the ground. Anything that may have been set off is set off.
Okay.
And unfortunately, your body is going to protect me.
Okay.
Because you're already messed up as it is. So you don't want to have more people injured. All right?
Very careful.
Now it's time to put this group to the test. The scenario consists of 3 casualties who are injured and stranded in a minefield.
In a minefield.
Ault's here.
One's got 3 down, one's not responsive, one's got shrapnel wounds, and when he's talking to me, the other guy's standing. I can see something right behind him. We're gonna come and get you. I don't want you to move. Just stand right where you are.
I can't see him. I can't see anything, man.
Tell me what happened, guys. Did you see these markers?
I don't know. We were just walking. We went to take a shortcut off the patrol route because we saw some kids over there.
Right.
And then next thing you know, there was a big bang and I hit my head off a tree, and I don't even know how long we've been here. I just woke up there a couple minutes ago and walking around, and Scott hasn't been talking. His legs all messed up, and Tom's screaming. His shrapnel in his face.
And drag me out. Where's our help?
They're coming, man.
Get them in here. Why aren't they just coming to get us? I can't see anything.
I don't know, man. Hurry up.
The soldiers must determine a safe path to the casualty before giving medical assistance. In a real situation, only 1 lane would be cleared at a time. That way, if there was another explosion, fewer people would be injured. Every country has its own way of marking explosive land. The painted rocks here indicate a minefield.
In Bosnia, the locals used everything from signs printed in the local language, maybe a skull painted on it, piles of rocks with paint on it. Earlier in the war, there were piles of sticks and used, blown up animals or people are a pretty good indicator that it's a mined area.
Ensure you use the foot powder to mark the outside edges of your lane as you go on.
Don't be shy with that powder. Squirt it so we can see it. It's not putting pepper on your plate.
Really, anything can be used to mark the lane. What you want is a safe lane of 1 meter wide, and a lot of times the rifle can be used as that because the rifle is actually 1 meter wide, 1 meter long. And the white powder is just to mark what area has been cleared. Really, anything can be used. Rocks, if they can grab rocks and make kind of a trail. It just has to be marked so that when they walk in, they're able to pick the body up and bring them out. Foot powder just happens to be something that is on the body of most soldiers, so they can pull it out of their kit and use that to mark the lane.
Remember, you want to note the color, size, shape. If you know for a fact what type of mine that is, you're going to radio that into 0.
You're going down as
Yes.
well.
Okay, so what's that?
You can feel if you've hit a rock, it's grainier than a piece of steel. A piece of steel is, generally fairly smooth. You're gonna feel the difference between steel, rock, metal, or plastic, wood, that sort of thing. Some mines are made of cast explosives. You can actually feel the blade sink into it like a piece of wax. You can feel as you go. It's something that takes training and practice. And in the case of something like this, which is a casualty evacuation, you're gonna learn as you go.
Toys and stuff. I mean, they were walking around here. I thought it was safe.
They're prodding around the body to make sure that there's no mines or UXOs, anything underneath the body. Basically, they're moving the bayonet in at a 30-degree angle, and what they're going to try and do is hit the side of the mine. They don't want to come in too shallow, so that they'll hit the top of the mine, so they're going to come in at a low angle, try and hit the side, and find if there's anything underneath them.
Get out of here as soon as I can. You just lay still, all right?
Yeah, I can do that.
Even after an area has been cleared and assumed safe, it is possible for people to sneak back and plant more mines. This is called reseeding.
I have an anti-purse mine, can size, soda can size, on the left side.
Ma'am, I got one here on the left.
Currently what we got going on is we're in a scenario is a convoy, and the first vehicle in the convoy was hit by an anti-tank. So the whole convoy had to come to a stop.
We've had people say, okay, well, let's just back out of the minefield. You can't do that because now you're dealing with an unknown, right? You have to, the whole point of it is you have to stop and figure out what's happened. The first vehicle knows that they've hit a mine because they've been ripped to pieces. The next vehicle's back may not know that. So was it artillery that came down? Did somebody throw a grenade? Was it the engine exploding? Right, so the first thing you do is stop and assess.
No radio communication. Our APC is taken out. Okay. 0. He wants us to do a self-extraction. Okay. Work your way to this vehicle.
Stop. That's uncleared ground, and you're standing right next to an A personnel mine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna keep your feet and hands in the vehicle, you're gonna hang out the side, your head's gonna fill with blood, and it's gonna feel like it's gonna bust. The first thing you do is you're gonna put a white streak there, that's gonna be your start line. And you're gonna prod yourself with your bayonet, you're gonna build a box large enough for you to stand in. First thing I would do is take off everything you don't need. Keep the Kevlar, keep the helmet, if you got goggles, wear them, but get rid of all that kick, 'cause you're not gonna do any shooting while you're down there.
Okay, next.
All right?
And who's our second man down there?
I won't be doing this too long until I get to stand up.
Normally you're going to be prodding with your bayonet. You may, if you're with an engineered det, you may have actual a proper prod that the engineers use. You take your prod at a very low angle, and you dig it slowly down into the earth until you strike an object. Then you try to decide, you don't keep banging on that object until it blows up in your face, but you try to determine the border of it. If there's any suspicion that it's a mine or an explosive device of some sort, you mark it, you move your path off of that object, and you try to prod until you find a safe width or a safe path.
This is my own personal thoughts, but for getting out of the vehicle, the first thing I want to do is build a large box, right? After that, I can identify which direction my lane's going to go, but I want to be able to put my feet down and shuffle around there.
No one can go anywhere until there is a relatively safe route to evacuate.
We have an amputation of the left hand.
Hand back? I'm missing a hand. I need my hand.
Because they're training for the worst-case scenario, every soldier must go through every training stand, even if it isn't their normal job.
My hand's gone.
Most times, as a medic, you're not going to be prodding. If you're on a patrol, perhaps, and you're the only guy who's not injured, you might end up prodding. But generally, your main focus is the casualties. So as a medic, it's unlikely you're going to prod. But everybody still needs to know how to properly do it.
When Truth Duty Valor returns.
Anytime you drive anywhere downtown Kabul or any kind of operations you go on within the city proper itself, it's utter chaos.
One of the hardest parts to train for is the congestion of some of the areas in Kabul, namely the markets.
One of the challenges that the troops in Afghanistan are going to have to face is congested market-type areas. So what we've attempted to recreate is a market that they may have to get through with their vehicles overseas. It's a task that the troops that are going to go are going to have to do regularly. So it's important that we practice while we're here in Canada.
There's an estimated 2 million people in the city of Kabul.
You can't move due to the vast amount of people, the vehicles. They don't drive the way we drive. I mean, they have vehicles, but they have no lines on the roads. They don't have, one right ways or left ways or whatever. They go wherever they want. And then you mix in camels, donkeys, chickens. That's what we're trying to do here is simulate just something that they may encounter as they're driving through the city of Kabul.
Most of the guys that are on the ground here now were on Roto 0, which means they just returned this past winter from Afghanistan. So they know exactly how they need to act to look like the locals over there, and From all accounts, they're doing a good job.
Driving through market areas is exhausting for the soldiers who must constantly keep their eyes on everything that moves.
Where are you going?
They toss stuff every once in a while. Like a kid may toss a rock, which they're very good at throwing, and due to the Russians, I guess. But it just keeps you on your toes. A rock could easily be something else, IED, anything. So besides the sheer number of people, you're looking at somewhere, oh, hey, Canada, how you doing? They're really glad to see you. Others don't care, and then there's some that would just like to deter what we're doing over there. And those are the people that could just walk by, you know, say a hi Canada and throw a little sticky bomb on your wheel or something. So you have eyes in the back of your head would be the best thing if you could add rep for something like Afghanistan.
Suicide bombers remains high. Last week, German forces sustained 2 casualties in a suicide attack in the market en route Monkey.
Meanwhile, these troops are getting ready to practice a routine patrol in their Coyotes. The premise of the scenario is that they have a VIP to escort to another location and have to go through a busy market to get there.
I say again, 2-3 will conduct a decoy VIP escort from Camp Suter to ISAF HQ in order to ensure the safety of Major General Branch.
They don't send commanders out off by themselves, all right? They're high priority targets for terrorists, all right? So they'll usually go out with an escort, and that's what we provided.
They have no idea what trouble they might have along the way. You don't want to be going into a situation like this without a sturdy vehicle under you and a solid team behind you.
We have the Coyote vehicle. It's a light armored vehicle. It's quick, it's agile, and it also has a little bit of firepower with the cannon on board as well. We all have our personal weapons to defend against anything else that may arise.
Yeah, wheeled vehicles that we use overseas, both the Bison, which is a CP or an ambulance, can be used for both, and the Coyote, they're designed to take anti-tank, anti-burst mines very well. So.
Back at the simulated market, the locals wait for their cue. Just like on a movie set, every action triggers another. Here, when the guy on the bike starts riding, it's the cue for the action to start rolling. Captain Matthew McCloskey is a 28-year-old heading to Afghanistan for his first time. He's a troop commander with the Recce Squadron.
And the Recce Squadron over there is the eyes and ears of the Kabul Multinational Brigade.
VIP escorts will only be a small portion of Matthew's job overseas.
Our primary task is utilizing the surveillance system, which is on the Coyote vehicle itself. It has a camera and a radar to pick up a whole bunch of different, it's a whole bunch of sensors. And they'll go out and set up for a period of up to 7 days and just monitor the area. Now 4, this is a 2-2, a roadblock, a wait out. 2-2, you can go right over. Hold on. 2-2 Alpha 2-2, I want you to dismount up with your serve up and clear these people in front of the back of the vehicle here. Murray! I want you to dismount and go guard the VIP!
The driver is the one that's normally looking at the road, and that's his number one priority is looking at the road. And then the gunner and the crew commander, and then the air sentry in the back, they're looking at the vehicle in front of them, the vehicle behind them, and their vehicle. And so it's a team effort. I mean,
we'll support if we were moving in 2s, 4s, whatever have you. We'll always be supporting the other vehicle, so we'll be checking them out as they're helping check us out.
And I mean, it's one thing. It's a task in itself just to pay attention to the traffic and when you're driving, just for safety reasons. But I mean, at the same time, we're looking at the crowd, we're looking at the buildings, we're looking at upstairs windows, we're looking at doorways, alleyways. So it does kind of get very tedious and tiring, believe it or not, especially if you're driving, you know, hour after hour through the same thing.
Okay, Murray, get in, let's go!
Both convoys make it through the market without any problems. They each take a different rural route to make it more difficult for people to ambush the convoy carrying the VIP.
After this particular part of the stand, the convoys are going to be moving through an ambush site. And the ambush site is set up. And when they set themselves up, they establish part of the road that they focus all their firepower on. And that's called the kill zone. And so the ambush is going to launch when the VIP's vehicle is in their kill zone. And then it will be the convoy, the escort's task to safely get him out of the kill zone and keep the VIP alive and get him to his destination.
Driving in the country can be just as hair-raising as driving through a market.
Go, 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 go.
Run! One of the few areas of training where the soldiers get some good laughs is the pistol stand, where speed is the name of the game.
As you can see, it's not as easy as it looks. Try front!
We're calling it the quick draw McGraw stat. Basically, the military police are going to show us how to quickly draw our pistols if we're in a soft-skin vehicle, in case we need to shoot either to the right of us, to the front of us. They're going to show us how they want it done. As well, we're doing, as we're standing, say talking to people or whatever, and we notice an incident, how to quickly get at our sidearm.
As you can see, it's not that easy with all this gear on. When you go overseas, you'll even have more gear. Turn front! Whoa!
Some of these people have never carried a sidearm. Some of them won't carry a sidearm over there. Some of the people have never seen this holster or ever used this type of holster, okay? So what we're doing is we're trying to give them a brief introduction into how to do a quick draw.
Right, hands up everywhere. Maximum speed. Tread front! Hold.
It's more of a self-defense weapon. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to talk to somebody when you've got a long barrel weapon in front of you. And if something happens, at least they have something to defend themselves with.
Pay attention. Once you get your time, holster your weapon. Put your hands down. Oh! Pick it up. You still got the front.
You eliminate your threat.
229. 199. 230. Good. 3 seconds. 2 seconds doesn't seem like a long time. But if you have a perceived threat, 3 seconds may be too long.
Getting a pistol out of its holster with all your gear on and sitting in a vehicle can be tricky.
Threat front! Front right! Threat right! You just stuck your pistol through the window, you broke it, you lost it. Right? Keep your pistol inside your vehicle.
So hopefully, if, and I stress if, this is required, and hopefully it never is, at least they'll have some base knowledge of what to do.
When Truth Duty Valor returns, the soldiers take the next task on foot.
Not every time you step off or get out of your vehicle, you're going to end up in a gunfight.
Halfway through the training of the next rotation of soldiers heading for Afghanistan, winter came.
Yeah, it is snow, yeah. Not this much per se, but like
Did it get like a couple inches and then friggin' it's gone by the end of the day?
Throughout their 2-month specialized training for their deployment, the soldiers are put through a seemingly endless variety of situations that deal with choosing the appropriate reaction. This next scenario will challenge soldiers who jump the gun.
I'll pretty much do it just to see whether they're gonna friggin' shoot a kid if he has a friggin' toy gun. Kids are, the toy guns, they got these little silver pistols or whatever. It's pretty real looking.
The kids always want to go out and see us.
Yeah.
See what we can.
They want to mimic us, really. They you'll go on patrol and they'll follow you, and then they'll actually mimic what you're doing. So they kind of like play acting that way. They'll just go around. Even if they pretend they have guns, they get a kick out of it because they like just being like us.
95% of the time over there, everybody is pretty happy that we're there. You know, like all the people are friggin' awesome people.
The soldiers on patrol have no clue what this test will be. They know they're being trained for the worst-case scenario, so they watch for signs of hostility. To create a more realistic training environment, the soldiers role-playing as Afghani locals make communication a challenge.
The jingle trucks broke down and causing a potential traffic jam. I'm going to see what I can do if I can clear the traffic jam up and keep things moving. Come here! You go around? Whoa! Did you hit him or did what? Okay. Yeah, that's the... No ISAF vehicles involved. Can I look? Okay, thank you.
These soldiers seem calm and cool now, but how will they react when a gun is put in their faces? Will they shoot before realizing it's a toy?
Keep moving.
They didn't react at all. No. They totally ignored it. I guess, what can you do, you know? Another toy gun. No big deal to them, right?
Good job.
They didn't overreact. That's the main point.
In this scenario, an illegal weapons cache run by known terrorists is reported. The soldiers must act quickly and quietly to catch the bad guys by surprise.
Flies would be ideal. Another section. Possibly more as you're going.
By the time the terrorists realize what's going on, it's too late.
Front fire, sir, Steve Guard!
There are times when patrolling on foot is more effective than in a vehicle.
What we've tried to recreate here is a small village. Obviously, we can't have the numbers of people involved in it. However, the marketplace, they come up through a marketplace, and then they move into what are mud huts, where there's blind corners, alleys, dead ends, things of that nature that they're gonna encounter over in Afghanistan. They're gonna be searching for 2 Canadian embassy workers who've failed to radio communicate their hire. So they're coming in looking for these 2. They're told to contact the mullah or the police. So they'll come in and they'll try to gain that information about these 2 personnel. However, there's things that they're also told that are the X factors. They're told about potential IEDs, which are improvised explosive devices. They're told about car bombs, UXOs, there might be wanted type personnel. So they'll encounter all these things. And what we try to do is put them in a situation where they're looking for all this activity, yet we just want them to concentrate on their section integrity and their movements through tight and close quarters.
We interact with the locals. This way here, they're not so intimidated when they see us. They know that we're friendly, and hopefully when we ask them questions, they're more forthgiving with information, just to help us feel safe. And as well, with us being there, we're also making them feel safe as well.
If we're working in an area and we have a good rapport with the locals and stuff like that, they're going to tip us off, tell us when we're going to be attacked, or we're supposedly going to get attacked. So we're going to get good intelligence if we have a good working relationship with the community.
If we're nice to them, we're polite and courteous. Basically, we treat the people how we want to be treated.
It was very easy because they were always up talking to us, and they were always shaking your hand. They were never rude. They were never had any problems making friends with the locals.
Although most people are friendly and not out to harm the soldiers, trusting the wrong person can be deadly.
It's a double-edged sword. It's good to make friends, and it's good to trust them, and it's good to be there, and it's good to get the information, but it's also bad to be too trusting. And again, you'll see that today, that there'll be people that are very standoffish, and there's people that are very accepting of the information. And that's not wrong, because 99.9% of the time, the situation doesn't escalate.
But for the newer guys that have never deployed before, it's good to see something like this, where they get to interact.
The biggest thing we have going for us over there is the Canadian flag we wear on our combats.
When Truth Duty Valor returns, a suicide bomber creates a mass casualty situation. At Camp Julian, there's a hospital with doctors and nurses who take care of daily medical issues like flus and sore backs. When an emergency happens outside the camp gates, it's the medics on patrol who take care of the wounded at the scene.
I was part of an ambulance crew, a Bison ambulance crew. I was the crew commander of the Bison ambulance. I was called onto the mine strike scene, and I was also called onto the suicide bombing scene. I was the first ambulance to arrive on the scene for that. In those situations, your first concern is your and your crew's security, to make sure that you're not going to become a detriment to the scene. You don't want to go rushing in there and become a casualty yourself, and then more resources are required to extract you, rather than you becoming the person that's helping people out. And that's one of the biggest concerns.
Because of the dangers of entering a scene where there's been an explosion, the area must be secured before the medics can treat the casualties. For the purpose of training, it is assumed that the area is already secure.
The key dealing with this scene is we essentially want them to concentrate on first aid, which is what we're testing these people on. So we, of course, have one of the vehicles with 3 casualties in it. We have a priority 1 casualty in the front seat on the passenger side. We have a priority 4, someone who has been killed in the scenario. And we also have a priority 2 in the back of the scenario.
I'm not sure about the guy, the driver there. The ramp clear in the back there.
He's just lying there.
Are they unconscious, all of them here?
Hey,
you guys okay? Radio up! We're gonna need more, we're gonna need another, after up here.
Randy!
Hey, guys!
Get your hands off!
Oh, yeah!
Randy!
Are you okay? Hey!
I think
What do you need? What do you need? He's alive over here.
Okay.
Okay, good. Keep an eye on him. Don't
You stay right there, watch him. We'll call you if we need help.
I think maybe you should. Where'd you leave? Are you hit anywhere else except in your face? I don't think so. Somerset, I need you to help me out here, all right?
Yeah.
Stay right here. Okay. All right? Don't move unless I tell you to, okay? Yeah. Okay, you're doing a good job. Just stay right there. So just sit still. Are these guys okay? They're okay as well, all right? They're not moving, okay?
Look, just let me have a look at your friend here, okay? So just hold off your question. Okay. You okay?
We got a 5-4 right up there. He had no problem.
Which one? Driver?
The driver.
Okay.
I've yet to have a complete go on the guy in the back here.
Okay.
The second one's probably too.
Dog? Where's the dog? This is the dog.
What's going on?
Here's the dog.
Normally, neither the doctor nor the senior medic would be dealing directly with casualties, but they were given a worst-case scenario. Only a couple of medics to deal with many injured. They have to get the casualties out fast because there's always the risk of another explosion. With limited medical help on the ground, they managed to tend to all of the casualties.
That was chaotic, as it would be.
More Truth, Duty, Valor after this. With things like mines on their minds, it's nice to come home to a safe place at night. The soldiers working camp security allow everyone to sleep easier.
Everybody's busy in a theater of operations, and everybody has their specific jobs. But camp security, and particularly the main gate, is critical because if anything got through the main gate, of course there could possibly be very serious repercussions.
And they can easily attach it to your vehicle because they're all squished right up against you because it's stop and go traffic downtown. As soon as you stop, they just boom. It's like trying to drive a vehicle through water.
He's taken everyone through their paces in learning how to properly search a vehicle before it enters the camp in order to make sure it's safe. We're looking for a variety of things. We're looking for any type of irregular objects on the vehicle, both on top, on the side, or underneath, particularly the wheel wells and under the vehicle, just to make sure that there's nothing that's been stuck on there or something that's been that someone is trying to get into the camp that could be hazardous, explosive, anything like that. Anything out of the ordinary, basically.
The troops have 2 more weeks of specialized training before they get a month off to spend with their families. After that, they head out for 6 months in Afghanistan to try to make a difference.
She's not too enthusiastic about me going over, but she knows that this is something I've always wanted to do, and she knows that it will probably happen again, so she's come to grips with it. So,
my son, who's 9 for this one, he's a little more anxious about it. Hasn't said a whole lot, asking a few questions. The last deployment almost 2 years ago was a little hard on him.
On Camp Julian, they've got email set up, so you can email as much as you want, and also they give you 5 minutes a day, so 35 minutes a week to call back home.
Well, I'm pretty pumped. I mean, I joined the infantry to go overseas, and I'm gonna get a chance to do it.
I'm excited. Yeah, definitely excited. Everyone wants to go on tour, and I'm glad I've got the opportunity, especially to go as a troop leader for an officer. It's one of the more fun jobs.
For most medics, that's where that's what you want to be doing. You want to be with the troops. You want to be out there seeing what's going on and being on the ground if something happens.
This is my first deployment. I've been in the service for a long time, but I've just recently completed training as a doctor. So this would be my first deployment in the military, and certainly my first one as a doctor as well. I am a little nervous, but I think that we're trained as best as we can. And we've got a great bunch of people on this roto, and we're working hard to be as best prepared as we can for all the potential dangers and threats out there.
Join us next week for more adventure on Truth, Duty, Valor.
I just want to say hi to my wife, Kathy, and my 2 boys, Matthew and Bradley, as well as my parents and family out in Saskatchewan. I'm going again, obviously, so I hope to stay safe, and I'll see you all when I get back.
I just want to say hi to my husband Simon in Halifax, love you, and to all my family in Scarborough, Ontario, miss you guys, and I'm going to see you soon. Take care.